Hey, this is Jared Murphy of creativity.com. If you have a book that you're about to publish, or maybe a few books that you've already published and are starting to think about how to do a better job with your marketing, I wanted to make this video talking a little bit about author websites or your author platform. Your platform is basically anywhere that you can reach readers directly. And so you'll want to think about two main things in regards to your author platform that are going to make the biggest difference, and the reason that it's difficult to make things look as good as you want. The first one is design. You may have paid to get your book cover designed, but you probably didn't pay to get your website designed or your promo graphics, or anytime you want to shout out into the void and tell someone about your book, you can do it with text, but it does help to have some good looking graphics. Which I'll talk more about later. But if you don't have Photoshop, if you have been making your own graphics, it can be a challenge, even if they look good, to have a consistent brand where you're using the same fonts and the same colors. Basically, your author brand is how people feel when they think about you and your books. So hopefully you write in one particular genre, you know who your audience is, you know what they like, what appeals to them. So it's kind of a matter of deciding what fonts or colors you're going to use consistently. It could also be the case of needing to make a logo, either a publishing imprint logo or an author brand logo. There are people you can pay for those. I generally don't recommend them because I think a lot of them are ugly and they have to be used in the right way. But that's one of the challenges. You'll see a lot of pieces that other people are doing and you want to figure them out yourself. So you may hire out and get a bunch of random stuff that doesn't really look good together, or you have to figure out a way to do it all yourself and make sure that, everywhere online you're using the same kind of fonts and images to communicate the same type of messages or feeling about your author brand. So the first thing to get right that's difficult if you don't have a background in design is the graphics, making sure that everything looks good, choosing the right fonts and colors and whatnot, because if you don't have a well-designed site or author platform, it's not going to look professional. People, especially when you're reaching out to cold audiences and this is your first communication or first impact, they're going to be looking at how things look and making a quick decision or judgment about how big of an author or how professional of an author that you are. Even though it shouldn't, that's going to reflect back on your books. Is your website worth sticking around? Are your books good enough? They're going to assume things like, well, you must not be selling a lot of books if you can afford to have a real website done. But apart from design, the second thing that's really important to get right and is also difficult is the tech. If you're building an author website, when I first started doing websites, I was an artist. I wanted to find a way to put my paintings online. I had to make a website and a gallery from scratch, HTML code basically to make my blog. And it was hard and I had to learn. I'm not actually a coder. I try to do my best. I'm comfortable with design, but for complex code-based applications or things, I'm not a developer. I can't make those things. So what I ended up finally doing was learning WordPress. And what I've talked about in the past when we're talking about author websites is if you Google author website, what you're going to find is a bunch of examples of author websites from people who are selling expensive author websites, because it's always profitable to take a basic skill like web design and target a smaller audience. So for example, a website that might cost $500, they're going to charge $3,000 and sell it to authors as an author website because it looks more specialized. And in my opinion, most of those websites do not look very good, and I didn't recommend them in the past because they are too graphically heavy. A lot of, if you look at examples of great design websites, you'll probably find something that has a lot of graphic elements, which means there's pictures everywhere. The whole thing is a big picture. It looks beautiful, but it's all custom. It's going to run really slowly on Google, which means it's not going to be ranked or indexed very well. It's probably not SEO focused. So you can pay $3,000 to get hopefully get a nice looking author website. Although, like I said, it's risky because there are a lot of people selling expensive websites that don't look good. But the disadvantage is you may end up with a website that looks good but doesn't work. And by work, I mean going into checklists again, it needs two things to work. It needs actual traffic, which is why I focus on a responsive, clean, minimal site that loads really quickly so you can get a lot of content, because without content, it's not going to attract anybody. It's not going to be ranked. And you want to be focused on getting cold traffic, people who are searching Google for things. You want them to show up on your website, because if not, all you really have is a website that you have to drive traffic to, unless you're giving out a card to one person or you're paying for an advertisement to get that person to click and come back to your website. Nobody's going to see your website at all. So it's not a very good investment. It doesn't matter what it looks like if nobody's even there. It can be nice to have somewhere to tell people to go, and you kind of do need something, but I don't think spending $3,000 for another website is really a good idea, because most people won't do it right for you anyway. They're probably either designers or they're tech or coders. Those are two very different skill sets, or their team that kind of can do a good enough job, but they won't really do exceptional work for you. And the other part that's really important is the conversion. Assuming that you have someone on your site, whether it's from organic traffic, which means people are searching and they're finding you in search results, or you're paying to advertise to get that traffic, the only thing that matters is, do those people even stick around? Do they find what they need to? Do they sign up to your email list, or do they buy your book? In most cases, 95% of the author websites I've checked out, whether they're, homemade or they're done professionally, they don't look good. And even if they look good, they don't work because they're confusing. I don't find the information that I need in the place that I need it. There's not a flow of information to get readers to do what you want. Most authors just kind of present everything, and they don't know what to blog about. They don't know what to talk about. So they probably aren't blogging at all. You can check the blog and see that they haven't updated it in 2 years or whatever. All of those things are going to hurt you. And ultimately, this is why people say, why bother with an author website? Do I really need an author website? It's not doing anything for me. And that's totally true, because most author websites do not work. And so what I want to try to talk about in this video is how to fix some of those issues and allow you to make an author website that looks great, is easy to make, and will also produce results. This has actually been a problem for a long time. I try to solve as many problems as I can for authors, because I know there's so many things that they need to wrestle with. Author websites definitely one of those things that probably every author needs, but most authors don't have the budget or the capability to get done right. So it ends up being something that's, sort of works, but probably looks bad and doesn't actually do anything for authors. So what I mentioned earlier is that I always recommended people to use a simple, clean WordPress site with nothing fancy, no design, basically only your book cover. Your book cover should be the best looking thing on the website. And I still recommend that for most authors. I still recommend just starting with a basic WordPress blog that's clean and minimal. I do have some resources about, what I would put on that kind of blog, or how to organize it, or how to set it up. I do have recommendations of the best WordPress themes that I like. The reason I like WordPress is that you can update it every couple years or whenever you want by just adding a new theme, and it will restyle everything. And then all your content will still be there. It'll all still be the same. There are some alternatives that authors really like, things like Wix or Weebly, which I used to condemn because I didn't think they were very good, but they've really updated their game. Also, Squarespace is another one. Those three are basically drag and drop interfaces. So rather than the WordPress dashboard, which is a little bit clunky and unfamiliar, it's basically, you're looking at the page as it's actually going to look, and you can drag and drop and move things around and edit the text there on the page, which is really cool. And a lot of authors really like that feature, and you can make a decent looking website, but they're very limited with, you can't do whatever you want. You can't put things everywhere you want to. You have to choose a theme, and you're kind of stuck with it, which is limiting in my opinion. And so I've never really been strong on those. I think now those are fine. If they work for you, that's an option. I still would have preferred something with more choice and flexibility. Another thing I had done once upon a time I'll start talking about Divi since it's kind of on the topic. So Divi is a particular WordPress theme that acts like a design tool where, similar to those other tools that I mentioned, what you see is what you get. So you can install Divi, set up your website, and then make a page, and then go onto the page and see what it's going to look like and drag and drop things around. And so what I had done a few years ago when I was trying to find a solution for author websites was to tell people, if you get your own hosting, if you install Divi, then for $500, I'll install it, I'll help you customize it, and I'll design some headers for you. I'll use your book cover and I'll design some nice looking graphics for your header, a few custom graphics. Basically, I'll just set it up for you. So it's like a $500 setup fee, which was reasonably cheap for an author website, but didn't take that much time because I'm basically just installing a WordPress theme and doing some custom graphics. And this was basically a change in thinking because I have always recommended, simple, minimalist. Some content is better than nothing, even if it doesn't look very good. And that's true to an extent, but something else that I realized more recently was the feelings that you get readers to feel about you and your brand are also important. You may not want a simple, minimal, white site. You may want, a breathtaking, beautiful, graphics-heavy site so that when they land on the page, they're just overwhelmed, especially for landing pages. So real quick, the difference between an author website, which is basically all of the pages. You'll have a menu with different buttons that take you to different pages, and you'll have a blog that hopefully doesn't look too different, where you can update new content. So that's what I recommend because I don't believe landing pages necessarily are worth it or necessarily work for you. However, landing pages have much better conversion. I talked about how conversion is really important. So for example, if you wanted to make a landing page just for you as an author, like an About Me author page, and you wanted it to look really great, you would have all the stuff in there that would make people get to know you as an author. And I'll talk somewhere later about, what you would actually put on that page or how to design it. But that's somewhere that it could be important to have a nice looking page. Similarly with your particular book or a box set, or even like a books page, you could have a long landing page that has all of your books. So the advantage of Divi is that I could make a landing page so that if you're going to launch a new book, I could have the cover, I could have blurbs or reviews, I could have an excerpt, or sign up here to get chapter 1 for free, or sign up here to get on my mailing list and get an ARC copy. I could have links to Amazon or the other things. There's basically a way that I would set up a landing page to make it really effective while also making it look really good. And those may have some benefit when you're trying to launch a book. Maybe you don't have anywhere to send them yet. Maybe you're not ready to send them straight to Amazon, or you just want something that really looks great. Divi can make very nice landing pages. So I've actually seen other people selling a book launch platform or package or service where basically they will do a few things for you, but one of the big valuable things in that book launch service was a landing page. So they would set up a landing page for you. That was a $997 service. So you're not just paying for another website, you're paying for basically one page that promotes your book, where everything is on one page and everything is conversion optimized. And my response to that was that you don't need $1,000 landing page because your landing page is not going to be a big part of your book marketing strategy. I don't know if you've watched my other videos on book marketing or my books on book marketing. I have a lot of content, but the main idea was you don't want to invest in $1,000 page that nobody sees or nobody goes to. You still have to spend money or time on advertising and promotion to get people to that page. And it's probably not going to do anything if you don't have reviews, if you don't have nice graphics or a great cover or a great blurb, which are really important. And if you do have those things, you could probably send them to Amazon and your conversion would be just as good. So there's no need for a landing page, at least not one that you spend $1,000 on for most people. Although it depends on, your platform or your marketing strategy or your audience to some extent. If I had a specialized nonfiction book and I was starting to do a long pre-order campaign. I was reaching out to influencers and I wanted to have them go somewhere to look at the book, and I wanted them to think, damn, this looks really amazing, I'm going to support this book. That's somewhere a very good looking landing page would be useful. And I also, it's not only about the money, about paying $1,000 for basically a one simple landing page. It's also about me not trusting anybody else to do a good job, because I know there's a lot of people out there who are offering services that I don't believe they have any business offering, because they're not designers. They know that authors look at it and they think, oh, a free $1,000 landing page. It's one of those things that authors think they need, so they buy it, but they don't understand why it won't actually help them sell more books unless it's also part of a larger marketing strategy. So I mentioned I've got some courses on book marketing because I like to teach authors how to do this stuff themselves, even if they can't afford services. But I also recognize that some people don't have the technology or the design skills to do it themselves and make it look good. Even if I teach you exactly how to do it or what to do, you still may not be able to make something that works well and looks great. And I've spent a lot of time and money investing in templates or tools so that authors can solve some of these issues themselves without paying me directly. And that's what I've been trying to do with Author Platform Basics. So let me tell you a little bit about why I'm really excited about, and this is basically an online course, but it's also a package that includes some of my other online courses. And more importantly, it's a bundle of templates and themes that you can use that have been designed and optimized to look great and convert really well. And the reason I'm excited about this, and I'll tell you, when I started, I had all these big ideas and I got kind of stuck. And there were a couple reasons that I got stuck. Partly, DV runs on the WordPress platform, and WordPress went through a big revolution, a big new version of WordPress that was very different and unfamiliar. This is called Gutenberg, WordPress Gutenberg. And actually, for most people, the new changes may make it easier for you to use WordPress if you weren't comfortable with WordPress before. It's a cleaner, simpler interface. It might be more intuitive for you. Anyway, that's why I got kind of stuck for a while. But I'm back on track again, and I'm going to try to finish this course bundle, Author Platform Basics. And I want to tell you what my vision looks like, because I think it's going to be really, really cool. Basically, what DV will allow me to do and what I have planned to do is just make one simple, perfect landing page. I probably won't try to make a whole bunch of different types of pages. I'll basically make one perfect page to showcase or feature a book. I'll actually make one for your author page and one for your books. And so you'll be able to take this perfect template, and because DV is so easy to use, you can delete sections that you don't want. You can use or edit or change sections that you do want. You can customize it completely. And then you can either, I'm going to have kind of two ways of doing it. I have two websites already that I'm not really using. I have authoridentity.com, which I'm going to set up with author pages. So if you want a nice looking about the author page that is hosted on my website, then I'll have that set up. So you could log into my website. You'll be able to copy the template that I have saved and edit it and save it, so that you will be able to send people to authoridentity.com/Derek Murphy or whatever your author name is. It sounds like a reasonable place to have an author profile pictured. The advantages of doing that are that, number one, my site has a lot of site authority. So if you're starting out from scratch with a new blog on a new host, it's not going to rank very well or at all. You're not going to get any traffic. So if you publish a page on one of my sites, you'll have these backlinks, and the links can go to your Amazon. They can go back to your main blog or website, wherever that is, if you have one set up. But you'll get a little bit more power from those links, and it's possible that my pages will show up on Google before your pages will. So I'm going to set that up on authoridentity.com, and I have another site that's imlovingbooks.com that I'm going to set up for book pages so that I'll have the templates, and then it would be like imlovingbooks.com/title of your book or whatever, and you'll have this really beautiful landing page. So again, same reasons, the reason that I'm doing this and having it on my own site, even if you have your own blog or website, this just means it's easier to use. Even if you don't have Divi installed on your blog or website, or even if you're not even using WordPress, maybe you're using something else for your website, you can still make these cool, nice looking landing pages that you can use if you want to. You can send people to them if you want to, and even if you don't, they'll probably rank better so that when people are searching for things, my pages will show up first. I'm also going to customize them with at least 10 different styles depending on genre, so that, you know, if you write sci-fi or memoir or spirituality or whatever, there will be a completely different style with colors and fonts that are attractive to your audience. You're still going to want to customize it, but you'll have a very genre-specific, good-looking theme. And by good-looking, I mean, like, these are going to look better than anything else that's out there already. I've seen some people who have tried to make author websites or author landing pages, and they're reasonable, they're not terrible, but there's nothing close to the design quality that I'm excited about putting out there. I've played around with these on some of my fiction sites, and you can really just make a glorious, really good looking splash page. They call it a splash page or a landing page. It just means, like, rather than a big website, it's one page focused on conversion, so people can show up, get excited, get invested, want to read the book, and then take action. So the advantage of a splash page is that they're going to pay attention, which is also why, like I mentioned earlier, I like the minimal, simple sites because they show up. That's the hard part, is getting them to show up at all. But your conversion is also really important. The branding is really important, how people feel about the page. If your page just looks incredible, there's going to be an implicit professionalism that readers are going to take it more seriously. They're going to be more interested and attracted to it. They're going to be much more likely to sign up or start reading your book or even buy the book just because the page looked so good. And that's something you won't have if you have just a blog post or a page on your author website, especially because, again, even though authors are doing their best, most author websites really don't look good. You can install Divi and you can just install these templates and they will just be ready to use out of the box on your website, and then you can customize them however you want. You can clone them for all your different pages, and I think that's going to be really awesome because, like I said, author websites have been a major problem for everybody. There are millions of authors and there are no good solutions for building author websites yet. There's a bunch of kind of like decent or good enough, but there's never been a really good solution. So I'm hoping these are really exciting. I know they're going to look amazing, so I'm going to share the pictures of what they actually look like or screenshots as I'm building them. And on top of the templates that I'll be building, I'm also going to be building some graphic templates that you can use for your sidebar or your headers. This will basically look like, I already have a 3D image tool at DIYbookcovers.com that makes 3D graphic images, but I'm going to make a package of social media banners, promotional banners of all different sizes so that you can use my 3D builder. You can very quickly make graphics for the header of your website or blog, or for posting on social media, like coming soon or teasers or all kinds of cool little promo graphics. So not only do you get the sites themselves and the landing pages to use for your website, but you'll also get all of the design stuff that you need, the design tools and templates, so that what you post on that website are going to look really good. So my goal for this is not only to help you to set up a cheap author website that looks better than anybody else's author website, but also to make some really high conversion landing or sales pages for your books specifically that are genre specific and attractive to your audience. And I will also help you to create social media images and graphics so that you have basically a branded author platform. I'll also talk about making an author logo, so that if you want to have an author logo with your brand or your website, I'll tell you how to figure that out and to do it yourself. So you're basically going to be getting, even though you have to do it yourself, you're going to get results that are much better than you would normally get doing it yourself. But also it's going to cost you a fraction of what it would cost to pay somebody to set up or design your website for you, and it's going to look better. But like I mentioned, even if you have a beautiful, great looking, high conversion author website, you still need to get traffic to it. So having the author website is not enough. That's why I'm also going to give you my first course, Reach Your Readers, which is all about building organic traffic. It'll teach you what to blog about, how often to post, what kind of articles you should be writing. So that not only do you have, the background platform that looks good, but you have the actual content that ranks well in Google. It's SEO optimized. It attracts the right readers and converts them into loyal fans. So that's one bonus, is Reach Your Readers. The other bonus is going to be this course called 1,000 Subscribers, which is about how to set up your email list, how to build your email list, what to talk to them about, how often to email, how to run a book launch promotion or build your email list before you even launch or publish your first book. We'll talk about book giveaways and other ways that I use to build my list to over 100,000 readers or followers, and also how to build your social media followers. I mentioned the social media graphics, but I didn't really tell you how to get more followers. So basically the point of a author platform basics is, even before you publish your first book, to get at least 1,000 subscribers or followers with content and branded design, so that you look professional and you have a platform of hungry readers before you even publish. So you can have a really strong book launch even if you haven't already started building your author platform. So basically to get everything set up right so that your first book launch is a success. Or if you already have some books out and you just want to up your game, this will help you to fix all of the problems that you've got with your current platform. And even if you only do a tiny bit of what's offered in the course, or you only use a few of the templates, maybe you only use it for the promo graphics, or you only use it for building your own author logo, any one of those little things would be completely covering the cost of the course in comparison to what you could expect to pay for somebody else to design it for you. So I'm really excited about it. I know this video has been long-winded. I'll probably replace it later once everything is finished. Some of these things I'm still building or working on, so they will be coming later, but you already have immediate access to a lot of really valuable stuff and the 2 bonus courses. So if that's interesting to you, you can sign up and join today. Thanks. Bye-bye.